And from the NAI Division II Men's National Basketball Championship Tournament, it's Game 30 in our final game here on NAIA.org as the second semifinal features number 2 Oregon Tech taking on number 3 Davenport of Michigan. Hi again, everyone. I'm Scott McCauley, the NAIA Tournament Radio Coordinator. Perry Phillips joining me for this game. And hang on to your hats. I think we're in for a dandy here as the 2 and 3 seeds get ready to hook up to see who will meet up with Northwood of Florida. Raleigh Massimino's ball club, 76-56 winners in that ball game. Perry Phillips, better say something now because there may be few and far between for both of us getting thing in this game, because I think, you know, even though it's going to be a grinded out game because both these teams play very good defense, there are a lot of athletes on both those ball clubs.
Well, they are, but they're always going to be looking to run. If they get a chance, they are going to go straight to the hole. Both these teams are not shy about shooting the three. It should be a very entertaining ball game.
Again, Northwood won over McPherson in the first semifinal here, 76-56, as the teams get to center court here at the Keeter Athletic Complex. Oregon Tech's Jason Gamblin will be jumping center against James Humphreys. James Humphrey will be in the center circle, and we're about set to get underway. Hope you enjoy this one, the last presentation on NAIA.org. CBS College Sports, or the CBS Sports Network as it's now called, will have the national championship game at 6 o'clock Central Daylight Time tomorrow. Here's a lob inside, and the shot no good as Fairfax tried to hit Nelson, and Nelson kind of threw one up and it didn't go in. Davenport is the home team, dressed in their white with black trim uniforms. Oregon Tech, as they have in the whole tournament, in their dark blue with white trim. Hook shot no good. Both teams have missed a shot. Here comes Fairfax for Davenport, coast to coast. Shot blocked out of bounds by Clark. Davenport getting here with victories over William Penn, 85-81, Indiana Southeast, 80-52, a 68-54 victory over Cardinal Stritch. Loose ball on the ground. On the court will be picked up by Davenport, and they'll come back the other way. Oregon Tech beats Lords out of Ohio in the first round, 58-49. They were a 69-50 win over Warner of Florida, and beat St. Francis Saturday in the quarterfinals, 100-67. No score, just underway. Lob pass inside, tipped away by Gamblin, and picked up by Bobby Hunter, who had a great game here in the quarterfinals in that win against St. Francis. And Hunter takes a couple of extra steps. Traveling will be called, and the ball will come back the other way. Danny Miles, in his 41st season, nearing 1,000 career wins at Oregon Tech. They've won 2 national championships, both here at Point Lookout, in 2004 and 2008. Reverse layup no good by Fairfax, and the rebound comes out to Hunter for Oregon Tech. Oregon Tech also finished second in 1998. Ball out of bounds, and it'll stay with Oregon Tech. Davenport's program has not even been in existence that long. They just got started here a few years ago, but especially since Burt Paddock has come on the scene, they have surged into national attention, making their first tournament in 2010, getting to the quarterfinals last year, and then here in the semifinals this year. Still no score, as we have played almost a minute 45 here in the first half. Shot clock down to 3. Hunter has to force one up. It's an air ball, rebound to Davenport. Fairfax down the right side. He's good at distributing the ball. Gets it to Nelson. Kick outside. Here's a shot by Prinz. That one is short, and Gamblin with the rebound. Here's Hunter the other way. On the perimeter it goes to Riddle. Back out to Hunter, and now Clark will get it over to Zerbach. Still no score. 2:10 into this one here at Point Lookout. Clark to Gamblin, right inside the arc. Shot clock down to 17. Gamblin, one-hander, is no good. He'll get his own rebound, lose it, held ball, and possession will stay with Oregon Tech. A lot of action, Perry, but nothing to show for it on the board so far.
And right after we talked about scoring and how he can score in the pregame, you know, you mentioned the good game that was had by Hunter in the previous game against St. Francis. He scored 24 in that game, and that's after scoring 32 in the second round against Warner.
Hunter's been very key. Certainly has to be a candidate for player of the tournament, no doubt, as well as some Certainly a couple of great Northwood performances, especially by Jonathan Dunn in the first game here. New, or relatively new shot clock after the loose ball, down to 20 seconds to go. In the tournament, Davenport averaging 77.7 points per game, while Oregon Tech just a couple of below that. Still no score, and we finally have our first foul of the ball game called. The thing I like about this ball game is right now it's easy to add up the totals. Once we get beyond 10, it gets a little tough. But we're not even close yet. No score. 17-10 to go first half. Who's going to break the ice first? Here's Fairfax to the lane. Triple team, dishes off to Humphrey. His shot will be no good off the back rim. And Clark with the rebound. Still no score in the ball game. We're 3 minutes in. Pitchers duel here at the NAI Division II Men's National Basketball Championship Tournament. Kyle Gomez, always an early entry off the bench for Danny Miles. Here's a fadeaway by Clark, no good. And Fairfax just going to let that one go out of bounds. 16:53 to go, and we still have no score. We actually called a regular season game like this here earlier this year with College of the Ozarks playing Oklahoma Wesleyan. Was a pitcher's duel for a while like this. This is the national tournament semifinals, and it's Davenport and Oregon Tech scoreless. Nelson, pull-up jumper from 15, no good. And here's Gomez with the rebound. Oregon Tech now has the first opportunity to score as we approach 4 minutes gone in this one. And the ball thrown out of bounds as Gomez overshoots the intended target, Bobby Hunter. And Burt Paddock will go to the bench right now, and he will bring in Brendan Cooper.
And we've played nearly 4 minutes now, and no points on the board.
Both teams play pretty good defense. In fact, Davenport this year held their opponents to just over 58 points per game. That's coming into the tournament. Oregon Tech, a very respectable 68 points per game defensively coming into this tournament. Under 4 minutes, over 4 minutes now gone here in the first half. Still no score. Here's Fairfax to the basket, and he will finally get it to go. But even that one wanted to pop out. But finally, Fairfax got the shot to go. 2-0 Davenport. And the first basket comes at 15:40 to go in the first half. Clark underneath. Here's Gamble, and his shot too hard. And boarded by Humphrey to Fairfax. Fairfax back to Humphrey. Humphrey to the paint. Has the ball knocked away. Fairfax was waiting for it. Now he'll go right side to White. Demascius White to the lane. Has the pass tip outside Nelson. Three, no good. Had the distance, or had the direction, not the distance, but here's a turnover, and Humphrey's going to get it back and score after Oregon Tech tried to clear out and had the ball deflected. Davenport first 4 points of the ball game. Gomez over to Hunter. Crossover dribble to Hunter. Pull up, into the corner it goes. Back outside, Gamblin three. That one may have been partially blocked, but still almost went in. Gomez with a rebound underneath. Wide open for the basket. Will be Scotty Riddle. Riddle will get the basket.
Ball came out long. They had vacated the area. Riddle hung in long enough and was rewarded with the easy basket off the pass.
By not vacating the area, he was able to pay that reward. 4-2. Here's a shot for three. That one drops down. That's the three by Demascius White. And that puts Davenport up 7-2. 14:05 to go first half. Here's another three by Gomez. That one an air ball, and Gomez tried to chase down the rebound and couldn't do it. 7-2, Davenport on top early. Davenport from the Wolverine Hoosier Athletic Conference. They won their conference tournament and their regular season, have been ranked in the top 10 most of the season, as has Oregon Tech out of the Cascade Conference. In fact, Oregon Tech and Northwood kind of played ping pong with the number one ranking in the country, both going back and forth, but Northwood had it at the end of the year, and that's why they're the number one seed. Gamblin got called for the foul at the other end, but now The basketball will belong back to Oregon Tech after a turnover by the Panthers of Davenport. .40 to go first half, 7-2 the score. Lob inside, and this pass deflected. Out of bounds, Josh Johnson, who had just checked in, came in, and Danny Miles wants a timeout, Perry. 7-2 the score. And again, even though Davenport hasn't done much offensively, they definitely right now look out of sync.
They do, and it's a matter of timeout. They had seen enough with 6.5 minutes left to go. But still, to their credit, because of the defense they've been playing, it's only a 5-point game.
We talked about Davenport. They started their program back in I want to say maybe about 12 years ago or something. And they have slowly built their way up, developed their way up. But Burt Paddock's arrival really keyed the trend. In 3 years, Coach Paddock is 72-27 coming in. 33-4 for the season coming into this game. Davenport throws the ball away out of bounds, and it will belong to Oregon Tech. You know, your program is young when the coach at the other team's been in the school longer than your program's existed. But that's what we got. Ball around the perimeter. Bryant Sittman in the ball game, gets the ball back to Hunter. Shot clock down to 12. Davenport Perry doing a very good job of forcing Oregon Tech to take a lot of time to shoot. Hunter shovels it inside with 5 seconds to go. Here's a fadeaway. Shot was actually, ball slipped out of the hands of Johnston and will be rebounded by Davenport, who has the ball tipped out of bounds. It was 2003 that Davenport began their basketball program. So they've not been around very long. We were saying the coach at the other team's been in the school longer than the other team's programs existed. But Davenport has made a pretty quick assertion to be one of the top teams in the country. 7-2, Panthers on top. And that's going to be traveling on Demascius White. He was looking for a held ball. The problem is you got to have the other team grab it beforehand, and not one Oregon Tech player touched that one. Bobby Hunter walks it across the timeline. Perry told you his numbers a little bit earlier. He's had a solid tournament, the freshman, for Oregon Tech, but the hustling now is only with 2 points so far, and we're 12:15 to go before half. Hunter, left wing, here's a shot for three. That one drops down. That's one Oregon Tech needed. Bryant Sittman, if nothing else, it not only cuts the lead to 2, but maybe just unleashes the offense a little bit.
Sometimes a shot like that is what it takes to get you on track.
Yermon Davis has the ball for Davenport. Goes left wing to Javante Ford. Ford drives, kicks out, shot for three, up, air ball. Hunter with a rebound for Oregon Tech. He goes coast to coast and will not get the layup, but will get to go to the free throw line and try to tie the ball game up. 7-5 Davenport, 11:40 to go before halftime.
The other way maybe to get this Oregon Tech offense going is that you mentioned that they had played ping pong with the that #1 ranking. They were ranked #1 2 different weeks or 2 different times, each time for 1 week throughout the season. As a matter of fact, other than Northwood and Oregon Tech, Indiana Wesleyan, the only other team this year that had a taste of that #1 spot.
Indiana Wesleyan had one of their key players get injured right after the first of the year, and once that happened, even though Northwood, I think, had taken the #1 spot by then, that kind of dropped them down. They ended up being a 13th seed in this tournament and got upset in the first round. But they were in that conversation for a good part of the year as well. Hunter makes both free throws to tie the game at 7-7, 11:40 to go in the first half. Northwood, behind the 31 points of Jonathan Dunn, won the first game here, 76-56. Over McPherson of Kansas. And so now the final ticket to the championship game to be punched in this game. 11:35 to go before halftime. #2 Oregon Tech, #3 Davenport, all knotted up at 7 apiece. Davenport turns it over as Javante Ford didn't realize where he was on the sideline and stepped out of bounds. Second time that's happened to the Panthers in this ball game. First time was on the baseline. Now Oregon Tech shooting for the lead. Would be their first of the game. We have a held ball and possession will go back to Davenport. Northwood in that game tomorrow night, Perry, will be trying for the first national championship from the Sun Conference. Since, do you remember when?
Would that be the first year that was held here at College of the Ozarks?
Absolutely. We know it well because Embry-Riddle defeated the host team in that game, the College of the Ozarks, to win what was called the Florida Sun Conference at that time. Northwood trying to get the Sun Conference back in the winner's circle tomorrow night. Oregon Tech, as we mentioned, 2 national championships, 04 and 08. Davenport trying to make their first ever final appearance. Here is a 3 ball. James Humphrey, the senior from Fort Wayne, Indiana, puts Davenport back up by 3. It is 10-7, 10:40 to go here in the first half. Clark right around midcourt. Bounces it left side to Fresh Corpening. Over to Sittman. Couple of quick passes. The shot clock rolls down. Here is a fadeaway jump shot, no good. Too hard off the glass. Long rebound comes out to Fairfax. One-on-one with Clark. Fairfax takes to the basket, and he ran him right over. We had one just like that in the first game between Northwood and McPherson, and I'll say it then. I don't know a lot about the block charge one, but that was one of the easier ones you're going to get the call there.
And a lot of times, the one you're referring to is, any time that maybe even the guy isn't set, but when you duck your shoulder and you initiate the contact, you make it pretty easy for the man in stripes.
Another easy call there, as that's the first foul on Fairfax, just the second team foul on Davenport. We've only had 3 fouls call, and now it's going to be 4 fouls call here in the first just under 10 minutes of this ball game.
Scott, one thing about it with the, both teams getting off to a slow start here. Reminds me, if we go back to that first game, Northwood really got off to a slow start, and then they just really turned it on the rest of the game.
Key foul, though, here. That's Lonnie Fairfax's second foul, so the man that makes Davenport's offense move is now on the bench for a while.
That could be huge.
So we'll see if Oregon Tech can take advantage of that situation and try to get the lead for the first time. They trail now by 3. Clark goes inside. Wide open, Hunter for the layup.
What a look. Clark finishes off, and how did he see him in there for that for the shot?
Yeah, Hunter was open. The problem was there was a lot of players between him and the baseline, and somehow Clark threaded the needle and cuts the Davenport lead to 1, 10-9. 9:40 to go before halftime. Here's Humphrey, 3 ball, top of the key, off the left side. Tip in, no good, but I think they're going to call a rebounding foul on Oregon Tech, which will send the Panthers to the free throw line. Mention Oregon Tech's history. Again, they won 2 championships here at Point Lookout, the only other school to win 2 titles here at College of the Ozarks, Northwestern of Iowa. Interesting enough, Bellevue was the championship opponent for Oregon Tech both times. There was not a shooting foul, so Davenport inbounds and can't get the shot to go, and now here's Bobby Hunter. Any shot here takes the lead for the first time for Oregon Tech. Here's an outside look at 3, no good, and battle for the rebound. Hunter gets it and goes to the line. And Bobby Hunter just outfought 2 or 3 different players for the basketball, and it'll be out of bounds to Oregon Tech.
That's just a matter of battling and somebody that really wanted the basketball because the position was made, the rebound had been made. He just reached in, grabbed a hold of it, and took it.
Official actually says it was a shooting foul for Hunter, so Hunter's going to get to go to the line. Foul was called on White, his first. Hunter misfires on the free throw. Mention Oregon Tech made the championship game one other time. That was in 1998, and they lost to Bethel in the championship game by 2 points. Hunter makes the second free throw, ties the game at 10. 10-10 the score. 9:05 to go first half. Nelson on the baseline tries to throw it back in the paint. And it's going to be intercepted, and charging down court is Gomez, coast to coast. He can't make the layup, and the rebound out of bounds, and it's off of Davenport. Will stay with Oregon Tech. Boy, that was a pretty big crash down at that end, Perry. As we look at the shooting percentages, I know this is hard to believe, but right now Davenport shooting only 29%, Oregon Tech 21% from the field. The score's 10-10, 8:50 to go, so I guess that kind of goes without saying.
Yes.
But Oregon Tech with new life here as they'll get the ball back after it went out of bounds. Hunter wants to break down his defender Camp, but he'll kick it out to Clark for a three. That one no good. Follow up by Gomez, no good, but a foul from behind by Nelson. And Oregon Tech to the line for the lead. 8:36 to go before halftime. First one in and out, no good. Oregon Tech having a tough time getting the lead. One more on the way for Gomez, who was big off the bench for the Hustle Nows in Saturday's game. He makes the second free throw, and it's 11-10, Oregon Tech with their first lead of the game. 8:30 to go before halftime. Davenport with the basketball. This is Vanderjack, goes to the basket, has the shot blocked, but also a foul called on Scotty Riddle, and the Panthers head to the free throw line. You know, we mentioned some tournament averages here. Davenport, we mentioned fourth in scoring offense. They are also 11th in three-point. They're shooting 37% from the three-point line. First free throw was good. And second one good by Vanderjack, who shoots 72% from the line for the season coming into the tournament. 8:14 to go before halftime. 12-11, Davenport back up. Gomez trying to change that. Shot blocked by Humphrey. Here come the Panthers the other way. Javante Ford tries to go coast to coast. Cross-court pass, intercepted. Here's Gomez down to Hunter. He's trying to outrun the defender. Will for the basket. 13-12, Oregon Tech back in front. 7:50 to go before halftime. Panthers settle into their offense. And a loose ball picked up by Hunter, and it's knocked out of bounds from behind. Give you a correction here. I credited the two free throws a moment ago to Vanderjack. It was actually Javante Ford that got the two free throws. Ford, the sophomore from Grand Rapids, Michigan, with his first baskets, first points of the ball game. 13-12, Oregon Tech on top. And Brendan Cooper will be set for the inbounds play with Gabe Vanderjack behind him. .7:20 before the end of half. Humphrey, quick pass inside. The attempted shot by Ford never got off because Gomez knocks the ball away. Another turnover, and it's Oregon Tech basketball, 1-point lead as we come up on 7 minutes to go before halftime. Clark for three, knocks it down. And timeout for Burt Paddock and Davenport. The Panthers are going to take a full timeout as Oregon Tech has surged ahead 16-10 with 7:02 to go before halftime.
Just about you see those three-pointers the other night, Oregon Tech hitting every one of those that seemingly that they threw up, and they're very capable after missing a lot of them here to start the game. They hit 4 or 5 in a row, completely changed the complexion of the game.
You know, for Oregon Tech, it's not as much their percentages. It seems like it's when they hit them. It seems like they always find the right time to take that right shot, and they just don't frankly put up many bad shots.
No, they don't. And you know, and that all goes back to the discipline they have, and it really goes back to their coach, Hall of Famer.
Who's won over 900 games. Oregon Tech coming in 32-4, as is Davenport. Barry, here's a number for you. All 4 teams in the Final Four with 30-plus wins. I know the number, we had the number added up here someplace, the total number of wins from this Final Four teams, but just phenomenal. All 4 teams, 30-plus wins. Here's a drive to the basket. One-hander by Nelson's no good, but he'll be fouled and go to the line.
And you and I had talked on a couple of the other broadcasts that we have done, but how good did the seeding committee do, or the ranking committee, however you want to look at it, to get to the Final Four and go all the way back to when this thing started and they seeded it to have number 1, number 2, number 3, and number 5.
Well, and it even goes deeper than that. We talked about this. That record, by the way, combined coming in 130 and 14. The record of the teams coming in, but it even goes deeper than that. You look at the quarterfinals, 7 of the top 8 were right where they were supposed to be. Only Bellevue getting upset by St. Francis was the only thing that spoiled the apple cart in that quarterfinal round.
130 and 14. 2 teams in this tournament had that many losses alone.
Second free throw after the first one is missed. Good by Nelson, his first point of the game. And Davenport cuts by 1 into the Oregon Tech lead. The Hustler now is up 16-13. 6:40 to go before halftime. Gomez, top of the key, decides to drive. Kind of lost control, but Oregon Tech still had an opportunity, and they're going to get the rebound. And a foul from behind as White got down court. That'll be the 6th foul on the Hustler Nows. As Oregon Tech fouls from behind. 16-13, Hustle Now's on top of the Panthers, 6:30 to go before half. Humphrey gets a screen from Davis, then gives it back to Davis, high post. He tries to post up, does, shot off the glass too short. Hard enough, but just didn't get enough height on it. And here's Hunter with the basketball for Oregon Tech, up 3. Hunter around midcourt, now begins to drive, loses the ball. It's picked up by Gomez. Gomez to the wing, gets it inside. This is Johnson. Post up, shoots, no good. Battle for the rebound, picked up by Davis after the point blank miss by Johnson. Vanderjack throws the ball inside, but it's picked up. Long pass down to Hunter, and he will outrace Nelson to the basket. Bobby Hunter with 9 in the first half. Oregon Tech, their biggest lead at 5. Wasn't exactly like Hunter outgunned a slow guy down at the other end. Nelson was on his tail, but just couldn't catch it.
And Hunter came back up, shaking his hand or his wrist, so we'll keep an eye on that.
Does have his wrist taped up. Ferris says we'll keep an eye on it, but it hasn't stopped him from 9 points here in the first half. Lob inside to Davis. Pocket pick by Gomez. And it's knocked out of bounds. The ball will stay down at Davenport's end with 11 to shoot, 5:10 to go before half.